first location is the Nygårdsbreen Glacier. This glacier lies about 19 miles north of the village Guap. The Nygårdsbreen Glacier is actually an arm of the largest glacier in continental Europe called the Jostedalsbreen Glacier. To get to the glacier, a small boat will transport you to the base. You will cross the palest, most turquoise blue glacier water you have ever seen in your whole life. From the forest to the base of the glacier, you have about a 30-minute hike. Once you get to the base of the glacier, you are kitted out with crampons, an ice pick, and a harness. It is impossible to climb ice without crampons, and they actually come with the guide, and I'll have all that information down below. Once you start climbing, it's about 8 hours in total from the top to the bottom. This glacier hike was one of, if not the most defining travel experience I've had in my whole life. It's one thing to see it, but to actually hear the pieces of ice the size of buildings moving and breaking, and it felt like a living thing, this massive, massive living thing. How much farther out?
2001 all the way to the hanging bridge is like...
How much longer will this be here for?
20 years.
20 years?
This is gone.
Yeah, you heard that. 20 years. And the fact that these aren't going to be around in 20 years, you know, when I'm a middle-aged guy, this might not be here. If you want to ever climb a glacier, do it. Don't wait. Get out here, climb the glacier. We're about halfway up now, and I'll see you at the top. The next location is Langfossen Falls, which translates to Long Waterfall. This waterfall is less of an activity and more of just an attraction. I mean, you're driving down the highway, out of nowhere you hear this noise, this rumbling noise, then you see the mist. You turn the corner and you see the largest, most menacing waterfall on Earth. This waterfall is over 2,000 feet high. The World Waterfall Database declared this waterfall to be one of the best in the world. That's gotta tell you something. I drove past this waterfall on my way to Voss, where I did some whitewater river kayaking. Langfossen is the perfect place if you're on a long road trip in Norway to just pull over to the side of the road, have some food, enjoy the beauty, and just kind of take it in because it is quite the sight. The next location, pause the video, try to pronounce this word. Yeah, this very, very long Norwegian word translates to Atlantic Ocean Road. Now, it is known as the world's most dangerous road just because during the winter time there's very strong storms that go through this area. When I did this drive, it was actually a beautiful sunny day, so I didn't get to experience it in the storm, in the craziness, but still I could imagine it could be pretty menacing in a storm. It is 8 total bridges long and 8,274 meters. And this is the biggest tip of this video. If you are going to Norway, you make videos and you make photos, invest in a drone. The drone is the only way to really see this country, which brings us to our next location. Deep in the mountains of western Norway lies Trollstigen Road. Trollstigen translates directly to Troll's Ladder. Trollstigen is a visual feast. I have never seen a place that was so... One, it made your stomach drop.
About to bike down the steepest bike course in the whole world. This is one of those life moments where you feel so alive, but at the same time you're like, should I be doing this? We're going straight down. Are you ready, Dylan?
Just because of how steep the road is. If you are going down that road on a bike and you're at the edge and you make a wrong turn, you're going over the edge and you're falling thousands of feet down to the ground. It is a straight cliff drop down to the valley. This road is the hardest and highest bike climb in the entire world. 12.2 kilometers of this ride is at a grueling 7% incline. The view from the top is just, you can't even put it into words how breathtaking and just vast this view is off into the distance. I bike down. The bike, let me just tell you, the bike... hands down the most extreme place I've ever been. The landscape is just, look at this. There were certain points where I hit 60 kilometers per hour. I cannot highly recommend enough going to this place. It is breathtaking in every aspect of the word. Literally, it will take your breath away, especially if you're biking up it or you're biking down. Trollstiger Road is a must if you're going to northwestern Norway. You have to see this place. Going up on a bike is the most grueling thing I've ever experienced, but going down sure feels good. The next location on our list, I have never seen anything like this. It is something out of a novel or a film. What I'm about to show you will blow your mind. The next location, and probably the most interesting place on this list, is the world's strongest whirlpool. Located in the Nordland, this is the strongest tidal current in the entire world. These whirlpools were so large that they could swallow boats. If we were to get close enough to the whirlpool, you could actually feel it dragging the boat into it. Up to 400 million tons of seawater forced their way through a 3-kilometer long and only 150 meter wide strait every 6 hours with the tides. Water speeds reached 37 kilometers per hour at the peak of the whirlpools.
But no, really, I've never seen currents this fast. And there's actually whirlpools, like when you flush a toilet, that's what we have, except times 1,000. So let's go.
And no poo.
The whirlpools themselves are huge. Some can be up to 10 meters in diameter and reach 5 meters deep in the heart of the vortex. 5 meters deep. Now, on the day that I was there, they were not nearly that big, but I couldn't even imagine seeing a whirlpool that big and that powerful, because they do get that big. When I was first going to it, I was pretty skeptical that it was kind of, it was a hoax. It was folklore. It was built up over time, but it's the real deal. To get to the whirlpool, you leave from the town of Buda. You suit up in a full-on survival suit. And when we were on the dock, I was kind of thinking to myself and wondering, why are we suiting up in survival suits for the Arctic? Like, these suits are no joke. The heavy gear, survival, you're out there in the middle of the ocean, waiting for someone to get you, suit. From the town, it's about a 20-minute boat ride through some of the most beautiful landscapes of mountains that are meeting the sea that I have ever seen. My guide told us a story about Navy SEALs who went in to test the whirlpools. They had air masks, they had full wetsuits. They went under for 2 minutes, and when they finally resurfaced, they were a half a mile down the river. That's how powerful these whirlpools are. When I was there, I was even thinking about going and swimming. I'm a strong swimmer, but not a strong enough swimmer for the whirlpools in Norway. Rounding out the list of incredible things and places in Norway is the midnight sun. The strangest thing was watching this sun go down and having it just hover right above the horizon. It would set at about midnight, just kind of hang there, and then it would start to rise at 1 a.m. The midnight sun is a natural phenomenon that occurs in the summer months in places north of the Arctic Circle, but actually the midnight sun can occur almost 50 miles away from the circle, but not quite as high. Your body clock is so thrown out of whack because imagine you are as tired as can be, but it is light out. It's the strangest, just most bizarre thing. It's very hard to sleep in Norway. It is right now 12:30 in the morning. It's June the 11th, so it's almost the first day of summer, which is the longest day of the year. I haven't been sleeping the past 2 days just because it doesn't get dark. It's always light out. I mean, look at this. The sun just dips down low enough below the horizon where it's like a sunset for 2 hours straight, and then it pops right back up at about 2, maybe 1:45. Real strange, but kind of cool.